The Chiefs activated Josh Gordon from the practice squad yesterday, meaning the veteran receiver could play this Sunday night against the Bills. Gordon hasn't played in an NFL game since 2019 when he was with the Seahawks most recently. So, Shannon, how much will he help Patrick Mahomes?
I'm not counting on much. I don't think they should be counting on much also. Skip, at some point in time, I understand he's only 30 years of age, but when you play as sporadically as he played over the last 6-7 years, Skip, how can you continue to perform at an elite level? Yeah, I understand what he was once upon a time. He was arguably one of the best receiver in football. But that was many, many, many years ago.
2013.
And he hasn't played consistently since then. And so for them to hope they could get some kind of great production when Seattle didn't get it, the Patriots didn't get it. Obviously, they didn't get it in Cleveland outside of that year and a half that he played with them. So, Skip, for me, I just don't know what they expect. I'm not counting on much. I don't really know what they're expecting, but they're trying to find a receiver to go opposite of Tyreek. They've tried Mecole Hardman. They've tried Pringle. They tried Marcus Robinson. And basically, it's a revolving door since Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins has been better than I thought for the Ravens because Sammy Watkins has been able to be healthy. When he was healthy for the Chiefs, he was really, really good.
He was.
But he couldn't stay healthy.
Nope.
So now they've tried Mecole. They've tried a lot of different guys. They said, you know what? What the hell? What do we got to lose? Let's try Josh Gordon, and maybe he can provide something, and maybe he can. But Skip, it's not like I'm holding my breath expecting to see Josh Gordon do anything spectacular for them. I'm just not.
So here we go again.
Yes.
Andy Reid is following in Belichick's footsteps or Pete Carroll's footsteps. It's the great coaches, the accomplished coach who says, watch what I can do.
But only those guys can do that because no other coach, you couldn't even, the ownership's not going to even let you bring this guy in.
Not going to let you. What did Tyrann Mathieu say yesterday? After he got his first look up close and personal at this kid.
Oh, he's impressive. If you just look at him, he's a statue.
He compared him to Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
Yes.
He's 6'3", 225, and he said, this guy looks like one of those kind of guys that you see two people on and you still throw him the ball. He looks that way. I've been around him. He's now 30, so he's not a kid anymore. But he's a good guy. High intelligence. If you sit and talk to him, you're like, wow, this guy's impressive. And his physique is obviously extremely impressive. And if you get him out on the practice field, it's highly impressive.
He's like T.O. He's like Julio. He's built like a Brandon Marshall.
He is.
That's what he looks like.
All of the above. But what did we both conclude as we watched him through the 2018 Patriots season? He started looking like he was running with the proverbial piano on back, right? He did. He just looked like he was trudging through routes. He still caught a bunch of balls, and he was decent, and Brady and Belichick tried to put him in position to help them.
Well, maybe, Skip, maybe he can be Sammy Watkins. Maybe, you know, they didn't ask Sammy to get deep. They just like, Sammy, we worked intermediate. You can help Kelsey out, lift some of the... Because right now, Skip, they're a two-person team. They got Kelsey and they got Tyreek. Now, that was a hell of a combination with Pat Mahomes throwing it. But if they can just get that third guy...
No, I got it. So in 2018... Josh Gordon caught 40 balls during the regular season for the Patriots, 720 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was decent. He was their third receiver.
Well, if he can give them that.
Okay. And then what happened? They get to the playoffs, and he checks out. And he says, I need to take some time away for him to work on my mental health. Well, it's just been one thing. 6 times he's been suspended. And you go back to his college days. Remember, he starts at Baylor, and it just becomes a nightmare of suspension. It's one after another until they finally just say, you got to go. You got to go. And he goes to Utah and doesn't play a down in Utah.
Because he
can't stay clean. And I like him, and I root for him. But after a while, enough seems to be enough. It seems like you need some kind of limit to this. But he's clean for the moment. I hope he stays clean, and I hope he's got some left in the tank. And if anybody can get what you should be able to get out of him, it's going to be Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So here we go again.
Yeah, Skip, I hope it works out, but I'm not, it's not like, oh, yeah, I just can't. Because my trust has been just broken too many times. At some point in time, you just got, you know what? Throw my hands up.
So I'm now like you. I just sit back and wait to see if there's anything left. And they're starting off with Buffalo at home. Sunday night.
Sunday night,
Big challenge ahead. Guys, LeBron got snubbed in a lot of categories in the NBA's GM poll. I know we've talked about that, but he was at the top of a surprising list. There is a list there, so let's talk about that one next. Jalen Smith's days in Dallas have come to a close as the former Pro Bowl linebacker was released yesterday, despite him being part of the team's hot 3-1 start. Former Cowboy Des Bryant reacted to the news, tweeting, quote, "I understand it's a business, but you don't mess with a team whenever everything is going right." That's a good point. Skip. Does Des have a point in your eyes?
Shannon Sharp. Many, many times I have rolled my eyes at something Des Bryant has tweeted. Last week, I did more than roll my eyes at something Des said about Colin Kaepernick on a podcast. Don't get me started on that, because that's not the point of what we're about to discuss.
Okay.
But for the first time and maybe ever, this tweet hit me the right way. Because I thought, I understand it's a business, says Des, but you don't mess with a team whenever everything is going right. I just made a case to you 2 topics ago. I believe my Dallas Cowboys have played at the highest level of any team through 4 games in the National Football League. It is working. It is eye testing at the highest level. And wait a second, after a 3-1 start, which included an opening night loss at GOAT, you cut a defensive captain, a team leader. If we could see, once again, Jalen Smith playing hype master in the big sideline huddle just before the kickoff this past Sunday against Carolina. This is Jalen Smith. He is leading the charge. He is chanting the chant.
Dak is hyped.
Yeah. Look, we're headbutting.
Yeah.
That's Jalen Smith this past Sunday before the Carolina game, for which he was named a defensive captain. Yeah. He's gone. He's cut. He's out the door. And I'm saying there's much truth to what Des tweeted, because if it ain't broke, I don't want to try to fix it after 4 games. It was working, and I told you to start this show off. If you put me on a lie detector right now as a diehard, lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, would I rather have Jalen or not have him? I would rather have him. Again, I don't want him to be an unhappy camper. I don't want him to make waves in the locker room if he's not getting to play. And his snaps got reduced pretty dramatically on Sunday.
And it was only going to get worse for the weeks to come.
You well could be right. But he contributed at a very high level at Chargers. He had 9 tackles with 6 of them solo. He was actually very good. In fact, next to Micah, I thought he did the most disrupting on defense at Justin Herbert. He played played 50 snaps on Monday night against Philadelphia. They got reduced. I give you that against Carolina. They are loaded at linebacker. They're actually loaded everywhere in the defensive line. But still, injuries are going to happen. You know it, and I know. I'm going to knock on wood. COVID is going to strike again. You know it, and I know it. I'm going to knock on wood again. I'm just shocked that they did it now. I'm not surprised, because last year Jalen Smith was a disaster.
Right.
I just saw some rejuvenation. Right. You already paid him his 7.2 because it's guaranteed. So you're going to lose it one way or the other. He's going to get it one way or the other. So, again, if you pushed me, in the end, I'd say I'd keep him. But you know and I know what the biggest problem lurking out there is, that
the injury protection.
If he gets hurt, it triggers a guaranteed 9.2 for next season. That I don't want to live with, and I guarantee you Jerry and company don't want to live with that, because that could actually help wreck your cap going into next year. So they just said, we don't want to risk it anymore. And yet, as a fan, I don't want to risk losing Jalen Smith this early. It seems like you could have at least waited a few more games. I know you're daring the devil on the injuries.
Right.
But to me, he was playing so well, even as a backup. He didn't start a game unless they know something I don't know, which is that he would become a locker room problem. But I haven't seen that from him. We had him on the show 2 Super Bowls ago in Miami, and I liked him.
Yeah, I did too.
And I talked to him after the show, and He's a good kid, and I think he is a team leader
in the Dallas area for minority businesses.
And he has a lot. And he said remember, Jerry gave him a big new deal in 2019 when he made the Pro Bowl, and he said at that point, I want to be a lifetime Dallas Cowboy, and I want to be a captain of the Dallas Cowboys. Well, he achieved that, and then Jerry sent him packing. Again, not surprised, but shocked at the timing of this. And it leaves me just a little bit queasy. What if we need him? What if a couple of linebackers do go down and all of a sudden you're hard-pressed to fill those shoes? Well, you want to talk about a quality backup? He's about as quality backup as you can get.
Well, Skip, the way I disagree with Dez, because I don't believe the Cowboys would trade him if they thought he was a major contributor. And as everybody understands, yes, this is a business, a bottom line business. And the question is, can Jalen Smith give us the same or better production than Keanu Neal?
No.
Van Der Esch?
No.
Michael Parsons?
Absolutely not.
So
and probably not on Jabril Cox. He's a young stud.
So that's
remember, they stole him in the 4th round. Remember, he started at LSU and then he wound up at North Dakota State. So he kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit.
And that's always kind of a flag.
No.
You had a prominent program like this, and you go down there. Wow, what's going on?
Right. And as we spoke about Trey Lance, they played one game during the pandemic.
Correct.
Last year.